There's a specific kind of silence that only exists in a suburban house at 3 a.m. It's not peaceful. It's heavy. It presses against the windows like water against the glass of a submarine. When you're a new parent, that silence is your enemy. You spend your nights listening for things that break it. A cough, a whimper, the rustle of sheets. My husband, David, sleeps like he's dead. He's a good man, a hard worker. But once his head hits the pillow, a marching band couldn't wake him up. That leaves me. Me, the baby monitor, and the silence. We have one of those high-end monitors for our 2-year-old, Leo. It connects to the Wi-Fi, sends alerts to my phone, and has a night vision camera that turns Leo's nursery into a grainy green alien landscape. I usually keep the audio low on the nightstand, and just a hum of white noise to let me know that the connection hasn't dropped. 3 nights ago, the white noise stopped. It didn't fade out. It cut, like someone had pinched the wire. I woke up instantly. The silence in the bedroom was sudden and absolute. I rolled over, blinking the sleep out of my eyes, and tapped the screen on the dedicated monitor unit on the nightstand. The feed was frozen. It showed Leo's crib, but the image was pixelated and distorted, trapped in a jagged stillness. I sighed, rubbing my temples. Great. The Wi-Fi's down again. I was about to reach over and shake David awake to go reset the router when the audio crackled back to life. It was loud, much louder than I had left it. Too small. The voice was a whisper, but it sounded wet, like someone speaking with a mouthful of saliva. I froze. My hand hovered over David's shoulder. The angle's wrong, the voice hissed. Bones have to snap. Snap to fit. My heart hammered a frantic rhythm against my ribs. That wasn't David. It wasn't the TV. That voice was coming from the nursery. I grabbed the monitor, bringing it closer to my face. The video feed unfroze. The green, grainy image swept across the room. There was the changing table, the rocking chair, the pile of stuffed animals in the corner. In the crib, Leo was there, curled into a ball, his thumb in his mouth. He was asleep. The room was empty. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. It must have been interference, I told myself. It's just interference. We live in a townhouse complex. The walls are thin, and signals cross all the time. I was probably picking up a cell phone conversation, or a neighbor's baby monitor. Someone watching a horror movie, maybe. I turned the volume down, convinced myself I was being paranoid, and tried to go back to sleep. But I kept one eye open, and I watched the corner of the room on that tiny screen, the corner where the rocking chair sat. Because, for a split second, just before the feed stabilized, I thought I saw the shadows behind the chair move, not like a shadow cast by a tree branch, but like a shadow that was unfolding. The next morning, the sun washed away the fear. That's how it always works, isn't it? Daylight makes you feel stupid for being scared of the dark. I was in the kitchen making coffee while Leo played on the floor with his blocks. David walked in, adjusting his tie. "Did you hear anything weird last night?" I asked, trying to sound casual. David laughed, pouring himself a mug. "Aside from you stealing the blankets, no. Why?" "The monitor was acting up, picking up signals again." "We should change the password," David said, taking a sip. "I'll do it tonight." He kissed me on the forehead and left for work. I watched him go, feeling a knot of anxiety tighten in my stomach. I looked down at Leo. He was stacking blocks. Red, blue, yellow. But he wasn't building a tower. He was building a wall. A long straight line of blocks across the kitchen tile. "What you building, bud?" I asked, crouching down. Leo didn't look up. "A house. For the tall man." The coffee in my stomach turned to acid. "Who?" "The tall man," Leo said matter-of-factly. He picked up a green block and placed it carefully on top of the wall. "He lives in the corner. He has to bend his neck so he doesn't hit the ceiling." I stared at my son. He's 2. He picks up things from cartoons, from books. The tall man? It sounded like a character from a nursery rhyme I didn't know. Is the tall man nice? I asked, my voice trembling slightly. Leo stopped playing. He looked up at me with those big, innocent brown eyes. No, he whispered. He's hungry. I spent the rest of the day out of the house. We went to the park, the library, the grocery store, anywhere that wasn't that nursery. When we finally got home, I put Leo down for his nap and stood in the doorway of his room for a long time. I checked the closet. I checked under the crib. I even checked behind the curtains. Nothing. Just a nursery. Just a room painted soft yellow, smelling of baby powder and laundry detergent. Get a grip, I told myself. You're losing it. That night, David changed the Wi-Fi password. He reset the monitor. He even walked around the room with me, checking the windows. See? He said, locking the sash. Fort Knox. Nobody's getting in, nobody's getting out. We went to bed at 11 p.m. I watched the monitor for an hour, staring at the green image of Leo sleeping, until my eyelids grew too heavy to keep open. I woke up at 3:13 a.m. It wasn't a sound that woke me up this time. It was a smell. It smelled like ozone, like the air right before a thunderstorm, mixed with something copper and metallic, old pennies, blood. I sat up. The room was freezing. The central air wasn't on, but I could see my breath pluming in the dark. I looked at the monitor. The screen was black. Not off. Black. The backlight was on, emitting a dull gray glow, but the video feed was total darkness. I tapped the screen. Nothing. Then, the audio kicked in. It wasn't whispering this time. It was breathing. Long, rattling inhalations, like air being pulled through a crushed windpipe. And then, a sound that made my blood freeze in my veins. The sound of the rocking chair in the nursery, creaking. I shook David hard. "David!" I hissed. "David, wake up!" He groaned, rolling over. What is it?" "Someone's in the nursery." That woke him up. He sat up, instantly alert. He grabbed the baseball bat he keeps under the bed. A cliché, I know, but in that moment, I was grateful for it. "Stay here," he said. His voice was low, steady. The protective husband. "No," I said, grabbing my phone. "I'm calling 911. "Just wait," he commanded. "Let me check. It's probably the cat." "We don't have a cat." David moved to the door. I watched him step into the hallway. I heard his footsteps on the hardwood floor, moving toward Leo's room at the end of the hall. I looked down at the monitor again. The blackness on the screen flickered. A shape appeared. It was the night vision adjusting. The room came into focus. The rocking chair was moving, back and forth. But it was empty. "David!" I screamed, scrambling out of bed. On the monitor feed, the door to the nursery opened. I saw David enter. He raised the bat, scanning the room. I watched on the tiny screen as he checked the closet. He checked behind the curtains. He walked over to the rocking chair and put a hand on it to stop it from moving. He looked into the camera, right at me through the lens, and gave me a thumbs up. "It's okay," the gesture said. "It's empty." I slumped against the doorframe, relief washing over me. He was right. Maybe it was a malfunction. Maybe I was going crazy. I looked back down at the monitor to watch him leave the room, and that's when I saw it. David was standing by the crib now, looking down at Leo. But behind him, in the corner of the room, near the ceiling, there was a dark patch on the wall. It looked like a stain at first, but then the stain detached itself. It was a limb, a long, impossibly thin arm unfolding from the upper corner of the room like a spider leg. It was gray, almost translucent in the night vision. It had too many joints. It reached down. I screamed. I didn't form words. I just screamed David's name with every ounce of air in my lungs. I ran into the hallway. I heard David yell from the nursery. "Julie, what's wrong?" "Behind you!" I shrieked, sprinting down the hall. "David! It's behind you!" I burst into the nursery. David spun around, bat raised, eyes wide with panic. "What? What is it?" he shouted. I scanned the room. The corner was empty. The ceiling was empty. The rocking chair sat still. Leo was sitting up in his crib, crying now, woken by the screaming. "I saw it," I gasped, backing against the wall, my eyes darting around the room. "I saw it on the monitor. It was right there. It was reaching for you." David lowered the bat. He looked at me, then at the empty corner. He looked terrified. Not of a monster, but of me, of his wife, unraveling in the middle of the night. "Julie," he said softly, "there's no one here." He walked over to me, reaching out to hold my shoulders. "Honey, you're shaking. You're having a nightmare." "No," I sobbed. "It was real. The tall man. Leo said—" "Stop," David said firmly. Let's get Leo. We'll all sleep in our room tonight, okay? We'll just get out of here." He went to the crib and picked up Leo. Leo wrapped his little arms around David's neck, sniffling. "See?" David said, turning to me. "He's fine. We're fine." We walked out of the nursery. David flipped the light switch off. As the room plunged into darkness, I glanced back, just for a second. The door was closing, and in the gap, illuminated by the hallway light, I saw the rocking chair. It was rocking again. We slept in our room. I locked the door. I put a chair under the handle. David thought I was insane, but he didn't argue. He held me while I shook. Morning came. We packed bags. I told David I couldn't stay there. I needed a break. I needed to go to my mom's for a few days. He agreed, mostly because he just wanted me to stop crying. I'm at my mom's house now. David's back at our place, packing up some more clothes and, ironically, getting the monitor so we can use it here. He just texted me. "Got the stuff, leaving in 5. He left the monitor on, by the way. Battery's dead. I'm sitting on my mom's front porch. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. But I have the app on my phone. I don't know why I did it. Maybe I'm a masochist. Maybe I just needed to know that I wasn't crazy." I opened the app. The feed connected. The nursery's empty. It's daylight, so the color's back. The yellow walls, the blue rug. But the camera angle is different. The camera is usually mounted on the dresser, looking down at the crib. Now, the view is from the floor. It's looking up. It's looking up at the ceiling. And there, wedged into the corner where the walls meet the ceiling, is a shape. It's wearing David's blue button-down shirt, the one he wore to work yesterday. But the person inside the shirt, it's not David. The limbs are broken. They're bent backwards, folded over and over like origami to fit into the tight space of the corner. The legs are wrapped around the torso. The arms are splayed out against the ceiling, holding the body up with long gray fingers that dig into the drywall. And the head? The head is twisted 180 degrees, hanging upside down. It's looking right at the camera. The jaw hangs open, unhinged, stretching all the way down to the collarbone. And then, a notification pops up on my screen. A motion alert. But it's not from the nursery. It's from the camera in our living room, the one pointing at the front door. I switch feeds. I see David walking out of the front door, carrying a duffel bag. He looks normal. He's looking at his phone, probably texting me that he's on his way. But as he steps out onto the porch, the sunlight hits him, and I see it. His shadow. The shadow stretching out behind him on the concrete isn't human. It's long. It's jagged. And it has too many joints. I try to call him. My fingers are slipping on the glass. "Pick up," I scream internally. He answers. Hey, babe, he says. I'm in the car. Be there in 20. His voice is cheerful, normal. But then, I hear it. In the background, over the car's Bluetooth, a soft, wet sound. Breathing. David? I whisper. Yeah? Who's in the car with you? There's a pause. A long, static-filled pause. What do you mean? David asks. It's just me. But the breathing gets louder. It sounds like it's right next to the phone. Right next to his ear. And then, the voice. The voice from the monitor. We fit, it whispers. We fit so well. The call ended. I'm staring at the driveway, waiting for his car to pull up. I don't know who's coming to pick me up. I don't know what's wearing my husband's clothes. But I know one thing. When he gets here, I have to let him in. If I don't, he'll just find a way to fold himself through the seams.